What should Colby Covington do? What should he do? He's in a tough spot. Colby's in a tougher spot than you may realize in this regard. No one wants to fight him. Right, Colby is allegedly being offered, I believe it to be true, but allegedly being offered the Leon Edwards fight. And Colby has come out and said, I got business with Masvidal. We're working on this fight. We're training for this fight. Masvidal knows all about this fight. That's the fight. I'm in the championship business. I'm not in the charity business, and that would be a charity fight. And by the way, don't come to me. This is Colby talking. Don't come to me thinking I should feel bad or this is my fault that Leon hasn't fought in a year plus. English fighters are fighting all the time. He's elected to not fight. Don't come and tell me that that's my fault or I owe him a fight. Now, it is interesting. I mean, Colby is in a tough spot, and he's looking to do hard work. He's not trying to avoid hard work. He wants to fight Masvidal. He wants to fight Usman. He's looking for something hard to do. To ask him to change his plans and go and do something on 2 weeks against a different style, I mean, sure, we can have a conversation here. Colby's not wrong. But Colby, where I was talking about he's in a hard spot, no one wants to fight him. They will fight him if they have to. Like Usman will fight him if he gets called. He's not going to elect to go do it. There's nothing wrong with that. He already did it once. There's no one to blame here. But Colby's in a unique spot. The only guys that are going to call him out are so far separated from him in the rankings, in media attention, and your guys' mind. They're so far separated from him. They're just trying to get their name attached. It's one of those things. That's fine. But it's one of those things. These guys don't want to fight him. So I look at it and go, look, if you got Leon, okay, who's ranked number 3, and even if he's only saying yes, it's because he needs to fight, and by the way, it's this date, and he's already got a plane ticket, and whoever can step in there at this point is good enough for Leon. Even if that's the reason why you can get the fight, I lean towards take the fight. I lean towards that. I lean towards it. I've seen so many guys. And the only regret that they have is that they didn't do more matches when they could do matches. And Colby is plenty young, and I would argue not even in his prime yet. He's already been a champion. I would argue for you he's not even to his prime yet. But it's coming. And you never know how long you stay there. And then you compete even on the backside of your prime while you're lying to yourself that you're not there. Or maybe you don't recognize it's one of these things, but the window goes very quickly. He's always in great shape. He's hungry. He's mean. But he also has a very clear idea of what it is he wants to do. And in this sport, if you cannot adapt or you're unwilling to adapt, the sport will move on and time will move on and you aren't competing. So it's one of these things where I want Colby to really make the right decision. I don't know what that is. He's a smart guy. He will figure it out. As I see it, though, it's important that Colby does understand the right fight is not going to come along. You're going to have to make it. I mean, in many ways, to get a main event right here, Leon has told the media that he has been told by the organization, you win your next fight, we will give you a title fight. Now, I understand that was supposed to be Chimaev. There was a lot of hype and there was these other things, but I think that Leon is in a very good spot. And I think that that's very fair that the promotion told him that. But it also tells you something about where those title shots are going to go, that there's going to be a period of time. You're going to have to do something. And Colby, I think, for you guys, is a very aggressive and cocky or brash guy. I will share with you what Colby is a hard worker with big dreams. That's what he is. He is not arrogant to the fact that I feel that he is missing, that people are scared of him. They don't want to fight him. Colby's style is a painful style. Colby's going to hurt you. You could beat Colby. Colby's going to hurt you. He's one of those guys. You're going to get hurt in this fight. He's just rough, and he's on you, and he's there nonstop. And the only time he uses his wrestling is to get position so he can go back to pounding. He's not a grappler. He is a striker. He will just strike you from being on top of you. Colby is going to hurt. It's one of those things. I don't know if Colby knows enough. I don't know if Colby knows that about himself. I don't know if Colby about himself knows these guys are scared. It's a long, painful night. So he's going to have to take the matches he can get when he can get them. I give Leon all the credit in the world, but I will share with you privately. I don't know that I believe that Leon would have taken a fight with Colby had it not been under these circumstances. Hey, I've been out for a period of time. I got to have this date. I got to meet this date. I got bills to pay. I have to work on this day. I don't know that he would do it. I want Colby to see that as an opportunity. But it's an opportunity where Colby could become a victim of his own success, and in some ways is there now. That's what it is when you want to fight and the promotion wants the same fight and this guy is refusing to do the fight, right? There's a major compliment being handed to you. But don't think that's the only guy that doesn't want to do it. That's going to spread. That's a microcosm. That's going to spread through the whole division. How are you going to get fights? What are you going to do? Tough question. Tough question. Tough question to answer. So on ESPN on Saturday, and this is in the wake of Usman looking so great and breaking a record. He was tied with St. Pierre for a record, but he beat him. Most consecutive, something like this. Whatever it was, though, grabbed one of George's records. George has plenty more, by the way. Don't feel bad for George yet, but Usman grabbed one of them. So we were asked a question. Who are your top 5 welterweights of all time? And Brett gave an answer, and Megan gave an answer, and I gave an answer. John Anik went last. And all of our answers was very close to the same. All of us put George at number 1. All of us put Usman at number 2. I largely interpret this question on anybody the same way. It's not the question, it's my interpretation. I think my interpretation might need revised. But I am largely looking for guys who aren't doing it anymore, where the body of work is done and we're staring back on it. And so I had Johnny Hendricks on that list, rounding it out. I had Robbie Lawler on there, and then out of nostalgia and purely out of respect, you put Matt Hughes on there. That was a different time with different level of athletes, but he still did it at a period of time, and that was my list. And so John Anik comes in last, and John basically had the same names we have, except one, and that was Colby Covington. And John said, not only do I think that Colby Covington is one of the best welterweights of all time, I believe he's one of the best fighters in the sport today, pound for pound. Now, that was a huge compliment. Huge. Particularly coming from John Anik. Because John Anik has the best seat in the house. Aside from the referee, nobody can see this action quite as close. And Anik weighed in on that. He said, guys, I have been there when Colby fights. And to hear the power that he's putting into these shots, not to mention the volume and frequency with which he's doing it. He said, not only do I have Colby as a top welterweight ever, I have him as one of the current best pound for pound. All John is doing is proving the point I'm attempting to make right now, where people are scared of him. And Colby, as he's making his moves, needs to start to understand this. It's not going to be easy to get a fight. If there's a fight there and this is what you want to do, at some point, whether it's the match you wanted or not, at some point, you got to go do the fight.